Two men granted bail in separate incidents. Guyana Times reports. Two men were granted bail on Friday after appearing before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, each facing different charges. Leandro Samaru, 22, of Lot 5 Dennis Street, Sofia, is accused of defrauding a woman of $300,000 by falsely claiming he could sell her a food cart. The alleged offense took place between February 19 and April 8, 2025. Samaru was not required to plead to the indictable charge. The prosecution did not oppose bail but requested that he report regularly to the Brickdam police station. Magistrate McGusty granted Samaru bail in the amount of $150,000, with the condition that he report to the station every fourth Friday of the month between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. The case was adjourned to June 6, 2025. In a separate matter, radio personality Alex King from Cummings Park, Georgetown, was charged with unlawfully assaulting a child. The court heard that the alleged incident occurred on May 7, 2025, at Austin Street, Campbellville. King, who identified himself as an employee of 96.1 FM, pleaded not guilty. The prosecution raised no objections to bail, noting that the parties were not previously known to each other. King was released on $10,000 bail, and his case was adjourned to May 23, 2025. Mother of two stabbed by estranged husband. Newsroom reports. A 30-year-old mother of two is living in fear after her estranged husband stabbed her and injured their son during a disagreement on Friday. Felicia Dharamjeet, speaking with the newsroom on Monday, shared that she has been married to Mahendra Rampersad for 14 years. 3 months ago, she left their home in Mon Repos, East Coast Demerara, taking their two sons, aged 11 and 9, to live with her parents in Bladen Hall. On Friday around 3 p.m., Rampersad, who typically picks up the children from school, visited the residence and accused Dharamjeet of having an affair and spreading false information about him. She denied the allegations, which escalated into a violent confrontation. Dharamjeet recounted that her mother instructed Rampersad to leave, but as she attempted to close the door, he pushed her aside and attacked her with a knife. I tried to fight him off, and the kids jumped in to help. My older son got cuts on his hand and thumb, she said. After seeing her injured and unresponsive, Rampersad fled the scene. Dharamjeet was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where she is receiving treatment for 2 stab wounds to her neck and lacerations to her hand, sustained while defending herself. Her older son was treated at the Nabaklis Health Center for his injuries and later sent home. Dharamjeet's mother, Sita Mongol, 59, expressed her fear upon seeing her daughter's wounds. My life and my children's lives are in danger. I want to find somewhere safe to go because there's no fence at my mom's house, she stated. The incident was reported to the Vigilance Police Station, and an investigation is underway. Dharamjeet mentioned that she had previously reported issues to the police. She described their relationship as initially nice, until she became pregnant with their first son, after which she discovered Rampersad's infidelity. Despite attempts to work through their problems, the conflicts continued. Dharamjeet had obtained restraining orders against Rampersad on 2 occasions but withdrew the first in hopes of salvaging their marriage. Driver and passenger die in Soesdijk-Linden highway accident. Newsroom reports. 2 individuals tragically lost their lives in a car accident on the Soesdijk-Linden highway early Monday morning. The deceased have been identified as 40-year-old Kamalram Ramin from West Coast Burbus and 26-year-old Fitzgerald Arthur Carter, a resident of Rosignol, West Burbus. According to police reports, the accident occurred around 5:10 a.m. in the Adventure area. Ramin was driving motor car PLL 6554 when the collision took place. Investigations indicate that a minibus, BE 1526, was traveling north on the highway while Ramin's vehicle was heading in the opposite direction. The bus driver, 32-year-old Emmanuel Doris from Mackenzie Linden, reported that he noticed Ramin's car approaching at a high speed. As the vehicle neared a section of the road under construction, Ramin lost control, causing the car to skid into the path of the minibus. Doris stated that he applied the brakes but was unable to avoid the collision. At the time of the accident, passengers were aboard the minibus. Doris and the passengers were taken to the Linden Hospital complex for examination and were kept for observation. Unfortunately, Ramin and Carter were pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. Their bodies have been transferred to the mortuary at Linden Hospital complex, pending post-mortem examinations. The police continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the tragic incident. Court appearance update. Please be informed that on today's date, Elton Daguerre appeared before Magistrate Chandon at the Lethem Magistrates Court. He pleaded not guilty to the offense of possession of 1.6 kilograms of cannabis with the intent to traffic. Bail was refused, and he has been remanded to prison until June 27, 2025. Tensions escalate between education officials. In a heated exchange on social media, Priya Manikchand, a member of the PPP/C government of Guyana, criticized the opposition for allegedly misrepresenting government initiatives aimed at benefiting teachers. In her post, she emphasized a collaborative program between the Ministries of Education and Health, which is designed to provide teachers with essential services, including eye testing and healthcare vouchers. Manikchand accused the opposition PNC/APNU/AFC of misleading teachers by claiming credit for these initiatives. Coretta McDonald, a representative of the Guyana Teachers Union (GTU), swiftly responded, labeling Manikchand's remarks as malicious and stupid. In her post, she defended the GTU's efforts to secure benefits for teachers and highlighted historical initiatives, such as the breakfast program and free university education, which she attributed to the PNC. McDonald urged Manikchand to focus on pressing issues within the education system, including the poor conditions at North Ruimveldt Secondary School and the quality of teacher training programs. The exchange underscores growing tensions between the government and opposition regarding educational policies and the treatment of teachers. As both sides continue to exchange barbs, the future of educational reform in Guyana remains a contentious issue. Court appearance update. Please be informed that on today's date, Trayvon Chappelle appeared before Magistrate George at the Lenora Magistrates Court. He pleaded not guilty to the offense of possession of 1.034 kilograms of cannabis with the intent to traffic. Bail was refused, and he has been remanded to prison until June 27, 2025. Court appearance update. Please be informed that on today's date, Ulrich Fingal appeared before Magistrate Azor at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. He pleaded not guilty to the offense of possession of 3.810 kilograms of cannabis with the intent to traffic. Bail was refused, and he has been remanded to prison until June 16, 2025. Vehicle accident disrupts water supply in EBD communities. Guyana Times reports. A motor vehicle accident over the weekend damaged a Guyana Water Incorporated (GWI) 6-inch transmission main trench near Pearl, East Bank Demerara, EBD. As a result, the Caledonia water treatment plant is currently offline for repairs to the broken pipeline. Customers in the following areas are experiencing water supply disruptions: Garden of Eden, Brickery, Supply, Support, Relief, Land of Canaan, Sarah Johanna, Pearl, Caledonia, Coverden, and Den Heuvel. GWI announced via social media that their technical team has been mobilized to carry out repairs as quickly as possible. The company sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience caused and encourages the public to report any water disruptions or visibly damaged pipelines to 2278701. They also advised residents to stay connected to their Facebook page for further updates. As of now, no additional updates have been provided. Motorcycle theft case dismissed. Accused a no-show in court. Currently on remand for another similar theft. A case involving 23-year-old Sean Innes was dismissed on Friday by Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court after the virtual complainant indicated that he no longer wished to proceed and only wanted his motorcycle returned. However, Innes was notably absent from the courtroom for that hearing. His attorney, Gwendolyn Bristol, informed the court that her client was unable to attend because he had been remanded to the Lusignan prison in connection with a separate motorcycle theft case. Bristol said she learned of his detention after speaking with family members, who relayed that Innes' mother confirmed his remand. Magistrate McGusty, in response, expressed concern that Innes had again found himself before the courts on a similar charge, despite still being tied to an earlier matter that was only now being dismissed. The now dismissed motorcycle theft charge stems from an alleged incident on March 20th at Robb Street, Georgetown, where Innes is accused of stealing a motorcycle valued at $450,000 belonging to Anvesh Badhani. Innes had appeared in court earlier in the week and pleaded not guilty. During that hearing, his attorney said Innes had previously worked at the business where the motorcycle was taken. She also noted that Innes' mother reported her son suffers from mental instability and frequently smokes marijuana, factors which may have led him to believe he was still employed there. It was reportedly his mother who contacted police after noticing the stolen motorcycle at their home. This led to his arrest and subsequent charge. The prosecution had opposed bail, stating that Innes attempted to alter the motorcycle's appearance by spray painting it black in an effort to disguise it. In his defense, Innes told the court he took the motorcycle to his mother's house for safekeeping, fearing that individuals he had past conflicts with would steal it from the area. He claimed he had done so previously while working at the location. The virtual complainant in the recent case told the court he would accept compensation if the motorcycle was repaired and repainted, but was unable to estimate the cost of those repairs at the time. It is alleged that the virtual complainant was compensated. This is not Innes' first brush with the law. In 2019, he was remanded along with two others for the alleged robbery of two cell phones on Camp Street, during which the victim was reportedly assaulted. They were positively identified and denied bail at the time. It remains unclear under what circumstances Innes was released from prison following that earlier charge. Bank fraud accused remains behind bars as case stalls. Court hears prosecution still waiting on bank statements. Guyana Times reports. The $36 million bank fraud case involving 23-year-old Shemaiah Ryan, known as Banker, has hit yet another delay, as the prosecution told the court on Friday that it is still awaiting critical documents from the bank in question. The matter was called before Principal Magistrate Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Ryan, who remains incarcerated, did not appear in court. The prosecutor informed the court that the outstanding bank statements are essential for disclosure and requested additional time. Defense attorney, Dominic Bess, voiced his frustration with the delay, noting that at the previous court hearing, the prosecution had similarly claimed that an investigation was ongoing. He argued that the matter had been under investigation for some time and insisted that the prosecution had more than enough time to produce the necessary disclosures. Bess also requested a peremptory date, a legal context that signifies a final or absolute date, after which further delay or reconsideration is not permitted. It's often used to set the deadline for an action, such as a trial date, meaning that no further postponements will be granted on the party's request. But Magistrate McGusty declined. She stated that, according to court records, the case was first brought before the court on April 4th, and she was not prepared to grant the request at this stage. The matter was adjourned to June 6, 2025, for disclosure and further proceedings. Ryan was arrested on March 31st by officers from the Criminal Investigation Department's fraud unit after a wanted bulletin had been issued for him. He now faces 25 counts of simple larceny under the Criminal Law Offenses Act, and 23 counts of conspiracy to commit computer-related fraud under the Cybercrime Act of 2018. The charges stem from an elaborate scheme in which more than $36 million was siphoned from the joint savings account of Bernadette and Carl Peterkin. The couple had never signed up for internet banking nor received any ATM cards from their bank. However, investigators say that on September 2, 2022, Ryan and others allegedly created a fake national ID card using Carl Peterkin's personal information. A man then used that ID to impersonate Peterkin at a Camp Street branch of a commercial bank, where he successfully requested an ATM card and online banking access. Shortly afterward, Ryan reportedly contacted two women, Donna Edwards and her daughter, Chelsea Edwards, whom he had known for years. Claiming to be a government contractor tied up with roadwork in Burbus, he asked to use their accounts to transfer money, allegedly telling them he was unable to travel to Georgetown to make withdrawals. Investigators say the women agreed, withdrew the funds, and handed them over to Ryan. Between September 2nd and 19th, a total of $17,997,000 was transferred to Chelsea Edwards' account in 13 transactions, while $13,618,000 was sent to Donna Edwards' account between September 7th and 27th. During this period, Ryan also reportedly used the fraudulently obtained ATM card to make 27 cash withdrawals from ATMs across Georgetown, totaling $4,829,000. These transactions were captured on CCTV and are believed to show Ryan himself conducting the withdrawals. Police have not yet indicated whether the Edwards women will be charged or if other suspects are being pursued. The investigation remains ongoing. Psychiatrist calls for attention to mental health. Guyana Times reports. As Region 5, Mahayakaburbis, observes Mental Health Month, Dr. Cheyenne Tony, a psychiatrist at the Region 5 Health Department, is urging everyone to prioritize their mental well-being. This call follows a mental health awareness walk and medical outreach held on Saturday in Mahayakoni under the theme, Turn Awareness into Action. Dr. Tony emphasized that the event aimed to raise awareness among those living in denial about mental health and to inform the public about available mental health services in the region. These services are accessible at Mahayakoni Hospital, Fort Wellington Hospital, Rosignol Health Center, and the Hugo Chavez Rehabilitation Center. There are many people in Region 5 who still attach stigma to mental health, Dr. Tony noted. She highlighted that misconceptions persist, such as the belief that mental health issues arise solely from external causes. Most individuals with mental conditions may lack insight into their situation, except in cases like depression, where symptoms such as sadness, low energy, or suicidal thoughts might prompt recognition. Despite the stigma, Dr. Tony pointed out that many individuals with mental health conditions lead normal lives and can hold respected positions in society. People working in government jobs, teachers, lawyers, and doctors can all be mentally challenged yet function normally in their daily activities, she explained. The psychiatrist acknowledged that stigma remains a significant barrier to treatment. If someone sees another person visiting a psychiatrist, they might think, "Oh, I didn't know that person has a mental illness," but often they express it negatively, saying, "Oh, that person is mad," she said. Dr. Tony described the various presentations of mental illness, from individuals exhibiting psychotic behaviors to those experiencing depressive symptoms while appearing well-groomed and dressed. She urged anyone experiencing such symptoms to seek medical help, emphasizing that effective treatment is available. Granger calls for strong national defense strategy. Kaider News reports. Former President David Granger has urged the government to develop a robust national defense strategy and enhance the training and operational readiness of the Guyana Defense Force, GDF, to address potential threats from Venezuela. Granger's call comes amid Venezuela's ongoing spurious claims to the Essequibo region and plans to hold elections on May 25 to appoint a governor for the area. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, has instructed Venezuela to refrain from such actions, but Caracas continues to pursue its agenda. In an interview with Kaider News, Granger expressed concern over increasing threats from Venezuela, despite the territorial dispute being under review by the ICJ. He emphasized the need to expand the people's militia units, particularly in hinterland regions, noting that their numbers appear to have dwindled. There seem to be very few field exercises with both regular and reserve units, Granger remarked. He pointed out that the original concept was for each hinterland region to have a strong militia composed of local residents to aid in national defense. In its early tenure, the government established a regional security unit designed to secure Guyana's borders. However, little has been reported about this initiative since its inception in 2021. The government allocated approximately $249 million to operationalize the Regional Joint Support Team, which was intended to enhance cooperation between the GDF and the Guyana Police Force, GPF, for crime-fighting purposes. The effectiveness and current status of this unit remain unclear. Granger stated that a comprehensive national defense approach requires the utilization of all resources across the country to support defense efforts. He also underscored the importance of diplomatic readiness, advocating for capable staffing in Guyana's embassies in Brasilia, Caracas and Paramaribo to provide timely analyses on issues such as regional migration, transnational crime, and territorial security. Recalling his time in office, Granger noted that his administration prioritized regional collaboration, particularly with Brazil, and strengthened ties with CARICOM defense forces. He cautioned that the Venezuelan threat has often been underestimated and called for a more robust territorial security posture. In February, Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier Omar Khan reassured citizens that the GDF is prepared to defend the country against any threats. At the annual Officers' Conference, Khan emphasized the need for vigilance and readiness. He expressed pride in the GDF's operational capabilities and highlighted the ongoing challenges posed by Venezuela's claims to territory. As the situation evolves, Granger's call for a stronger defense strategy underscores the need for comprehensive measures to ensure the security of Guyana's borders and sovereignty. 2025 National Tashayos Conference opens with focus on Indigenous development. The 2025 National Tashayos Conference commenced this morning, with President Irfan Ali emphasizing his government's commitment to the development of Indigenous communities across the country. In his opening address, the president highlighted significant transformations in health and education, announcing further investments earmarked for Indigenous communities this year. He reassured Indigenous leaders that the government's support is rooted in direct consultation and not merely seasonal or opportunistic. We will complete the new Maruca Regional Hospital and expand the services of the Mabaruma Regional Hospital. Additionally, we will establish an allied healthcare training complex in Region 1 and upgrade many health clinics to polyclinics, expanding lab services in numerous villages across the regions, the president promised. He further stated that efforts in Region 1 aim to fully eliminate malaria within the next 5 years. On the education front, the president noted that there are now 2,435 trained teachers from hinterland villages, predominantly from Regions 1, 7, 8, and 9. He announced that 79 schools have been constructed in the hinterland over the past 4 years, with 27 renovations completed and an additional 54 schools currently under construction. Today, we have the highest school attendance rates in the hinterland, and more students are transitioning to secondary education. That is why we are investing to ensure universal access to secondary education, the president stated. Additionally, the president promised more job opportunities for youths and enhanced business prospects for hinterland residents. He announced an increase in the presidential grant to $542 million for distribution in hinterland villages, along with additional resources to support cultural expressions and grants to religious organizations in Indigenous communities. We are proud as a government to facilitate such transformative changes, but ultimately, it is your accomplishment. We must remember who enabled this transformation and who we can trust to continue it, the president said. The National Tashayos Conference has gathered Indigenous leaders from all 10 administrative regions. They will spend the week addressing community concerns and discussing national issues.